Hey YouTube, this is James Tripp, and this is the first video that I have made for YouTube since the coronavirus lockdown thing happens. And please, if you hear those words and you're thinking, oh no, here comes the obligatory coronavirus video that everybody's putting out, it's not. That's not what this is about. It just happens to be true that while the world has been out there, it seems there are more and more people, certainly on Facebook. People are Facebook living like crazy at the moment, I guess because they've not got so much else to do. And while everyone else has been doing this, I have remained silent. So I'm coming on here, I'm doing a YouTube live video. I am going to be, for a while now, only doing live videos on YouTube. You may have noticed I haven't been here so much recently, and it's because I've been running my Hypnosis Without Trance online deep apprenticeship. That's been taking up a lot of my bandwidth. I've been in there creating content, and it's brought certain things out for me. It's brought out the fact that I am spending a lot of time there on editing, prepping up videos, this kind of stuff, rather than just showing up, being, teaching, doing this kind of thing. So one of the things that I'm making, a commitment I'm making to myself at the moment, is to do less editing, to be more free, to just show up and do my thing. And that's why I've made a pledge to myself for the foreseeable future only to be doing live videos. Hey, Unusual Aquarian Ecosystems, John, how are you? Yes, we're all well. So I'm only going to be doing live videos for a bit. And of course, that doesn't mean that I don't have something to say. I do have something to say, and this has been a long intro here. I want to talk to you about an idea that's prevalent in the world of self-development. It's the idea that you create your own reality, that your thoughts create your reality. I want to talk to you about this idea right here, right now. And the title of this video is, whose thoughts create your reality? Whose thoughts specifically? Is it really true that your thoughts create your reality? Yeah, it does. It takes up a load of time. John's saying that video editing takes a ton of time. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Anyone that pops up on here right now, I'll say hi briefly, but I'm going to stay on topic with your thoughts create your reality. Perception is projection. This is an idea. It's another way that some people put it, is saying unusual aquariums, ecosystems. So this is the case, right? Your thoughts create your reality. The idea behind this is your experience is what you live in. You don't really live in the world as it is. You live in your experience of it. That's your reality. And that experience, yes, it's data fed, but it's mind made. Okay, if you did not have a mind, you would not have any experience. You put together the world according to your rules about how the world works. This is a really fascinating thing, by the way. Even your visual field, which has a lot of apparent stability in it, doesn't. Okay, the way that you would perceive it if you weren't applying rules about, right, that's a solid object, so that doesn't move. It bends out of shape. That's why when people take psychedelic drugs, things start to melt first, because the systems that have been holding things in place start to break down, okay? So basically this idea is that your reality is mind-made. Now, people often say your thoughts create your reality because they recognize that if you start to understand the nature of thought and your thoughts and see the kind of thoughts that are running the game in your reality, you have power with that. You can start to transform how you experience things. This in turn transforms how you show up in the world, your engagement with the world. This in turn transforms the results that you get. So you can change the kind of habitual results you get by transforming yourself from the inside out, your rules about what is or isn't so, how you make up the world, basically. So isn't this great? Your thoughts create your reality. Massively empowering. Is it true? Is it really your thoughts that are creating your reality? Now this is where it kind of gets interesting, because on the one hand, yeah, of course you could say any thought that is being produced by your mind, any belief that your mind holds onto, your mind brain, it's yours in a sense. It's your thought, it's your idea, it's your brain, it's your neurology, it's yours. You get to own it. But it's also true that a lot of those thoughts, the source of those was somebody else, somewhere else in time, a long time back. Okay, so the question is, at any given point, what are the thoughts that are shaping your experience of this moment? Are they thoughts and thought structures and beliefs and rules and stories and narratives created by an adaptive adult brain, or are they the thoughts, ideas, stories, rules put together by maybe a 2-year-old brain or a 3-year-old brain? Now, the way that brains work, the way that minds work, is a lot like how evolution works. Right? If you look at evolution, evolution doesn't throw stuff out. It evolves stuff. It takes something that works, it takes something simple but functional, and evolves it into something more adaptive and more complex. This is true of our beliefs, our understandings about the world. Underneath of even some of the more sophisticated, nuanced beliefs, there's often a simpler belief form that goes way, way back. A simple idea got settled on when we were kids, and we don't question it. We don't bring fresh attention. We don't bring fresh consciousness. We don't bring adult consciousness to it. We never even see it. We don't see that it runs the game. I'm thinking of the old folk song. Who was it who did the song, The Blues Run the Game? Okay. This guy's named Billy Jackson. I ought to check this out. Maybe I'll put it in the comments, right? If you read about this guy's life, it was terrible. It was awful. He only recorded one album, supposedly in the studio. He had to have the things up around him. Aloha, yes, hey there, Stephen in New Jersey. So he had to have these barriers up around him while he recorded the album because he couldn't play and he couldn't sing while people were watching him. This guy was racked with pain. And there's this famous song, The Blues Run the Game. And you know, it's heartrending if you hear it. It's like, it's about him going to different cities, traveling the world, but wherever he goes, his patterning shows up, basically. Right? The blues run the game. The deep stuff within him runs the game. I missed what, look at this. I'm still getting used to this live thing, by the way. So something just flashed up and went by and I missed it. I don't know how to get that back. I'm going to have to learn something about doing this live thing if I'm going to do more of them. So this is what often happens in our life. It's like we travel from place to place to place, and then these reactions, these responses show up. The blues run the game, stuff from way, way back. We don't even know that it's running the game. That's the thing, we don't know that it's running the game. And what we often do is we rationalize our reactions using our adult mind right now. Well, of course I would behave like that. Any sensible person would behave like that. We don't really go back, we don't really look. So, what I want to say in this video really is that our history counts. Our collection of simple proto-ideas about how the world works tend to keep running the game until we really look at them, at which point they don't. We do get to transcend them. We do get to have the choice, but what we don't get to do is ignore them and shout over them with positive thinking and affirmations and all of that stuff. So at some point it's worth looking at that stuff. We don't have to trawl through our past and do agonizing soul searching or anything like that. And also, by the way, if you're going to go back and look and go, well, what are some of the deep thought patterns, the deep rule structures that are running my game in life? If you are going to go back and look at that stuff, you want to do it resourced and grounded. You want to do it with ownership. You want to do it with power. Okay? And this is a mistake that a lot of people make. They assume, they go into therapy thinking, oh, I got to go back and trawl through my past, but they haven't strengthened their adult self. They're not grounded in the I that chooses. They're not fully connected to their power and adaptiveness and maneuverability as an adult first. Then that's the time to go back and maybe look at some of the stuff that's been running the game. Okay? And if people don't do that, by the way, then they can get lost very quickly, and it can be a more harmful thing than useful thing to go back into past stuff. So really, I'm just kind of exploring this here as a topic because, I don't know, it just occurred to me that it's a useful thing to explore. I've been looking at this a lot for myself. I've been looking at what runs my game. You know, what's been running the game. I mentioned right up at the front, I haven't done any videos recently because I get bogged down in editing. Why do I get bogged down in editing? Why am I spending so much time editing rather than just showing up and doing my thing? Because there's something old running the game there. Something that says, no, This has got to be of a certain level, a certain level of polishness, a certain level of quote unquote perfection. Not that anybody ever gets to perfection. You see, I know that, my adult head knows that, but somewhere deep down for me, something else has been running the game. So this is why it's kind of in my mind at the moment. And I've been looking at that and going, okay, so those are the rules I've been unconsciously operating by, and they are old rules. And by the way, I was always going to do a video here on rules and how rules restrict our freedom, but they can also be used to create freedom as well, you see. So what I'm kind of doing here with this video, and you're getting to watch this live, is I am creating freedom through using rules to new rules to depotentiate old rules. Right? Unconsciously, I've had rules that say, right, I've got to prep a video, I've got to know exactly what I'm going to do, exactly what I'm going to deliver ahead of time. And it slows me down. It slows the whole thing down. You know, there's not a lot of time available to us in life. I don't really want to be slowed down. I want to be able to move fluidly and more quickly and with speed. So those old rules, if I want to counteract those old rules, once I've identified them, some new rules are useful. So I've got a new simple rule, YouTube Live and Facebook Live, until I deem otherwise, to break my old habits of over-prepping, over-editing, all of these things. You know, and ultimately, I'm taking a gamble on that's going to end up growing me, and I'm still going to be able to deliver some useful material for people here on Chaos Wave, and also I'm doing some stuff on Facebook as well. Okay, so thank you for the 2 people who have liked this. If you're watching this at the moment and you like this, do spare a calorie and hit that like on there. And you know, I said right at the beginning of the year that I wanted this year to be going a lot more non-linear, ironically, and I ended up going a lot more linear, which is part of what I'm doing to escape that now. So if you have any questions, right, about what I often say, using your mind to shape your life, look, here's a proposition for you. What if it turned out that instead of being who you think you are actually pure possibility, right? What if it turned out that that were the case? And what if it turned out that you had the power to draw out a myriad of wonderful things from that possibility that you are? But up until now, you didn't realize it and didn't know how you could do that. What if that were so? Okay? Well, I'm going to tell you that I believe that is so. And what I would love to do more than anything else via James Tripp Chaos Wave here is to assist more and more people in drawing wonders out of the possibility that they are, right? This means looking at how we've bound ourselves down with hidden rule structures. You know, I'm known as a hypnotist as well, so we live inside of hypnotic trances and reality tunnels all the time. We think we see the world as it is, but we don't. We see it as we're making it up through our stories, and that is what ends up limiting a lot of possibility. Okay, and we want to do that sometimes. I don't want to be completely free. I limit the possibility of stepping out in front of the tram that goes past my apartment, right? And I'm happy to continue to limit that possibility from now on. But there are other areas in life where we might want to be getting more from the world, more from ourselves, more richness, more goodness. And I want to really make this channel a place where we can do this, okay? I'll probably do another video on this, but I wanted to talk about empowerment at some point on here. The idea of empowerment, because this is a word that gets bandied around and it's meaningless and empty until you fill it up with meaning, until you look, what does it mean to become empowered? To be able to get on the lever, okay? And crank it, you know, in places that it's worth cranking in life. This is what I want to do on this. I want to be getting people in touch with their possibility and their power, and engage with me on this. Use the comments, that kind of thing. Subscribe to the channel, all of that kind of stuff that I normally say at the end when I'm prepping this. But do use the comments to ask your questions. And thank you to everybody that's been here live, and especially the lovely people who've already given us a thumbs up. Okay, I don't know how to stop this. I still haven't learned this live thing. I have to sign off in a smooth way by saying that you are possibility. I've already said that. So I'm going to just say, take care until we speak again.